Well, howdy, folks. DaveMan here again, Rollman Revolution. Now, I was sitting around the house this evening. It's been a really long week, as you probably well know, especially if you're one of the people who've been, watching the political scene out there with the Zelensky visit, and then, of course, all of the things going on with the tariffs. Companies from around the world bringing their businesses here to the United States. Basically, Trump firing on all cylinders. I mean, it's a really, really interesting time. But one of the things that have been bothering me, and it's been bothering me for a little while now, though there's a large portion of the country that voted for Donald Trump this time and kind of voted very much MAGA this time. But when I listen and I read some of the comments that people are, will put in the chat, or if they put something, in comments to videos or whatever it is online when somebody's trying to make a point. I mean, some of the people who claim to be MAGA, and there's a lot of people that I know personally who are, kind of MAGAs. They've, written comments in a variety of different avenues. But some of the weird things out there is related to these people really not understanding kind of really what MAGA is and what the big picture, like the vision of where we're heading as a nation. And it concerns me because this is what happens in a lot of these group type things. And these are one of the things that I kind of like pay attention to and have been kind of studying for a long time. When you work in major companies, you have this thing over time, especially when the company or the group gets larger and larger and larger and larger. When this happens, you usually end up having like divisions within the group itself. You'll have an in-group and an out-group. You'll have a person on the outside trying to get in. You'll be having this play, this dance that's going on within your own company. And you're all working for the same company, and you're supposed to be heading in the right direction. But it seems like there's the groupthink that happens within these things, and it ultimately becomes the demise of a group. Now, this is why I said if you were going to basically say that you're America first, or if you're going to be, quote unquote, I'm called MAGA, you really need to understand, or everybody for the most part needs to understand what that is in the organic sense. Meaning that it doesn't have to have a set of rules that all of these people are, but the ultimate vision is that we are heading towards what? Okay? We all need to be on that same page, because when I listen to people sometimes and what they say, it's like, President Trump has only been in office for 5 weeks, maybe going into the 6th week now, okay? His team, less than that, because they had to get confirmed into offices and then basically get themselves acclimated to what's going on there and then see kind of what's been happening. Now, the MAGA group especially, and the people like I listen to in these chats and in these conservative group, online groups, it's interesting because 5 weeks in, and a lot of these people are not really thinking about like what has just happened over the last 4 years and then some. Okay, you got to understand the Leviathan that we're dealing with here, this deep state, this apparatus that has been embedded in every arm of the federal government for decades, state governments too, and now local governments. But the bottom line is they're embedded in so many different agencies, groups, the Pentagon, the State Department, you name it, their people are in there. Okay? So, what do those people do? They've been grifting off the system for years. That's what Doge is discovering, right? So what are we doing? These people are now in self-survival mode because, again, if you end all of that funding, they're actually going to have to go out and get a real job. Or the kitty that has been paying them to do all of these bad deeds for so long ceases to end. The whole well dries up. No more money coming in. So what I'm trying to understand, though, is in this conservative group where you have, like I said, everybody who claims to be this MAGA, like, there's no patience. Everybody's blaming Pam Bondi because of, she didn't release all of the stuff properly in the right way, and she's just a grifter, and she's just a plant, and all of this other. I mean, do you ever listen to yourselves? I mean, really listen to yourselves. Okay, because most of the people that you're talking about, you've never met in your life, and you've never actually seen a lot of these people in action before, okay? It really bothers me when 5 weeks in, and look at all of the things that have already happened that President Trump promised, okay? He made the promise that we were going to get these Epstein files, that the JFK files, and all of these other stupid classified things, were going to be released. But you got to get time. Because you've got to remember, what do you think these people are doing? They're just handing the keys over to you and saying, here you go. Now you can go look and release whatever you want to. No, they're not going to do that. Why would they do that? It makes zero sense, right? They've been trying to hide this crap from the American people and have been grifting off the system from the American people, which you've been paying for, right? You've been paying for all this. Why do you think they would just let that go and hand that away? But it's struggle. I really struggle with it because, again, the groups that I'm watching, okay, that I think that this is, really where the country should be going, concerns me because, again, I'm often wondering, because, again, people have a tendency to go back to what is familiar to them. Familiarity breeds contentment, they say, right? So what happens is if too many things change in a direction that you may not see the control or the direction that is supposed to be because that wasn't what you were envisioning initially in your mind, well, what happens is people end up reverting back to their old ways because that was what was comfortable to them. And the problem with this is we are heading on a trajectory where things are going to be uncomfortable for a large amount of people for a long time because what's going to happen is when you wake up to the reality, when you've been living in the world of fantasy and bullshit for so long, when you finally have been exposed to the reality and things kind of like smack you in the face, it's going to suck. It's just going to, especially if you've been living in that bubble for a very long time. See, once people start to recognize the power that they themselves truly have, the efforts and the actions that they produce on the world, especially when you get to the understanding of like-minded people, and like-mindedness covers majority of this world. There is a small people on the fringe, okay, that are either ultra, ridiculously conservative, almost to the point, total fashion or whatever, all the way to the fringe, right? But you also have somebody on the other end of that as well. Most people don't live there. They live in the middle. Some lean slight to this side, some lean slight to this side. But those kind of things are debatable. We can talk and have discourse over those things to try to hash them out. That's what a family does. That's what a nation does. But everybody just wants to beat each other over the fucking head with things. And it's like, why are we doing that? Do you understand that the possibility for you to have a very good life if we all fucking work together, do you know the chances of that happening go tremendously up? It's when you don't pay attention, when you start to fight with people like me over stuff that is irrelevant. And it's like, how did we get so fucking stupid? I mean, really, we have been tricked into believing that we're the enemy and that what they've been doing is all fun and games and everybody's just, it's Democrats' fault, Republicans' fault. It's a game that everybody needs to realize it's friggin' over. If we truly believe the direction President Trump is taking us, is the right direction. Because there's going to be a large amount of people in the Democrat Party, 30% plus more, that are not going to like Trump or anything that he does or anything that he says forever and ever because his indoctrination, they're totally in this bubble. They cannot leave that bubble because their whole life falls apart if they leave that bubble, right? That's the pain I was talking about. But that does not change the friggin' reality. Those people will not be changed, but they're going to understand eventually really what's happening. Just like everybody else is. Everybody's going to get that slap in the face at some point in their life. Look, I got it 10 years, 15 years ago, okay? When I started to understand that the whole weapons of mass destruction thing, it bit me because I was pulled into that war like most people who are really like hardcore Americans. I was like, damn, I'm going to get them motherfucker. Everybody was like that, right? But when you started realizing, well, oh, wait a minute, that was a lie. And then you were like, oh, well, that's a lie. And then you started looking at the original story and you start working backwards. That's when I started on this journey for myself. And I realized that when you really study people, when you listen to what people are really saying, okay, you really got to listen to them. It's in their nature, in their being, okay? Like I've always said, assholes will be assholes, dickheads will be dickheads, morons will be morons, intelligent people will be intelligent people, but everybody has their shtick, and it radiates through every pore of their being when they're authentic. Now, politicians had this capability of sometimes masking it, but if you pay enough attention to these people, okay, and that's why I don't expect most of the people in the chat and everything like that to truly understand the really big picture and the critical path that everything is going on. I don't expect that because, again, most people just don't have the time. Now, a lot of people like to think that they know all this because I watch this show and I watch this show. But it's not what you watch. It's what you can remember, what you can regurgitate, what you can recall, how you can articulate that. If you can't do it in a conversation, it's not going to matter. You're just going to sound like some pine. I know because I watched that one guy on TV. No. When you truly know something, you don't have to think about it. It just rolls off your tongue. Like there's no way in hell I could have an argument or debate about anything that has to do with the NFL draft because I'm completely ignorant on that subject. Okay? I wouldn't know what the hell anybody was talking about if they referenced anything, nomenclature that has to do with that. But that's the same way I am with this political game and has nothing to do with politics in and of itself. It's the study of human beings and what they do. I'm floored at what people try to present themselves as. But what they really are doing is just presenting some bullshit, whatever they think that you will buy. And my goal has always been to try to get you to understand really what it is you're looking at. Because most of the time, especially when it comes to this geopolitical world, it is a game that if you are not really paying attention to, you really are going to miss so much. And to think that you know something when you really don't or really haven't done the work makes you very dangerous. Okay, and that's why I worry with this MAGA thing sometimes, because you have a lot of groups that are slowly merging into this. And I don't really think they see really what the true picture is and why it's going on. And I'm seeing a lot of the comments and a lot of the commentary and a lot of this, whatever, back and forth from people that claim to be MAGA, and that I because I've been watching them for a while, which unbeknownst to them, but when you see something, I try to see where that pattern takes me. And this is very common amongst a lot of people within MAGA, because they have not really understood. They haven't come from the grassroots. They're just recognizing it now. They're slowly getting acclimated to it. But like I said before, familiarity breeds contentment. People who have been like ultra left liberal for a very long time, or been, had liberal parents, or, told them one thing. The moment one bad thing happens within the Trump administration, like, they don't get that one person, or the Epstein files weren't released in a timely manner. You see there, everybody's a goddamn shill, everybody's a shill. That Pam Bondi, I told you she was a shill and all this. And I'm listening to this like, whoa, pump the freaking brakes for a second, okay? 5 weeks. Do you understand the corruptness that's been going on in this apparatus for decades? Decades, many decades, okay? These people know how to hide shit. These people know how to make stuff disappear. Everybody's a criminal working for another criminal buddy. You don't think Adam Schiff and all of his crony friends have criminal people working in the intelligence agency that can cover shit up for them? Look, they were able to produce and create and fabricate an entire Russian scandal out of thin fucking air, using people that knowingly did this against the sitting president. And again, I understand. People are like, well, why isn't anybody being prosecuted for that? Because again, these people are very good at covering their trails. And then they have the judges in their back pocket working at the DC office, right? Saying that, you can't do this and you can't look at that and you can't do this. The whole corruption system is set up. The whole DC apparatus is why there's all these law firms and political agencies and, hit piece, but, law. And these people, that's all they do for a living. They're hired to create bullshit, to create confusion for you so that you don't know what the hell it is that's really going on in the world. And we all fall for it. I used to. I don't anymore. But my point is, when I was thinking of this video, it's like I'm watching people who really want to be part of a movement that is greater than themselves. They want to see this, but they don't really understand what it is that's going on. And I'm just trying to get people to just pump the brakes for a little bit, because you're not making any sense when you look what Trump has been able to do. This is what I got to get people to understand. It's like, just calm down for a second. Understand that this is a process. The people just got in there. You got to see what it is you got going on here. All right? What we really need to be focused on as a country right now is to be beating the shit out of these senators and representatives who keep wanting to spend money and not doing anything about making cuts. Okay? That's where our focus needs to be at the moment. We should be calling right now. If you're so pissed off at the world and so pissed off or want to do something of written value, you should be finding out who your representatives are. your state, and your federal. Go down to their office. And if, let's say, you're a part of the Republican Party and your local representative is a Democrat, well, then you want to get these people out, right? If you're not happy with what's going on down there, and this is for both, that's what I'm saying, take the Democrat and Republican, throw that shit out the fucking window. That has nothing to do with anything. Either you're for this nation or you're not. This has nothing to do with color, that's to do with creed, that's to have nothing to do with, gender. It's all bullshit. Throw the labels apart. And let's just think as Americans. Your life sucks, my life sucks. We want to make that better, okay? Who do we know that we trust that can do this job better than the person that is totally representing us right now? Now, if you've got a good one, then you need to go in there and do what you can to try to help that person achieve the goals that they are trying to achieve. And most of the time, it's for your county or for your district. That's what their job is. So everybody wants to be part of this system. Everybody wants to be part of this next new movement. Well, what you can do to make that happen is to get directly involved at your local level by finding out who the people are that supposedly represent you. And if they are not, you have a duty to primary these people in the next primary, which is 2026. Find out if your representative is up for it. Find out how that person is voting. Find out what that person truly believes. Make them put their feet to the fire. When you do this, it empowers you, but it also puts the fear of God into these people. See, that's what I'm saying. Protection only goes so far. The voice, the power you truly have, it's unreal if you recognize it. But they have convinced you that, who am I? I'm just one little... You're right when you think of it like that, but it's not that. It's us versus them. And when you really see what can happen when people start putting trust in each other again, that's why I'm here. My job is to get you to understand not only the power you have, but how to use it. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world, okay? You don't have to understand all this geopolitical nonsense, although I think it's your future. You should know what your government is doing on your behalf. But aside from that, you can do this right where you are with the tools you currently have right now. If you don't know about what's going on, find out. Okay? It's people say that I don't have the time for stuff, but yet I talk to people all the time that can tell me everything that happened, in the entire season of, what the hell was that, with the zombies? I mean, what is it on? Season 7, 8? Because they've watched every one. They know every character backwards and forwards and names and this and that like that. But at the same time, they're bitching about, it's too fucking high. Yeah, because nobody's doing anything about it. This is going to get worse when you stick your head in the sand and just pretend that somebody else is going to take care of it for you. Who better to do what's going on in your community than you? Okay? You see the problems. You understand the problems. We got to address those problems as a community and then find the people that we know and trust within our community that are going to do the right thing. Okay? No more handouts. No more games. Look, this world can be a much better place for all of us if we stop fighting amongst each other. Okay? I don't know about you, but I'm tired of working my ass off to have nothing. Okay? I think you are probably too. Most people are. All right? You want to be able to have that. Look, you work your whole life for something. You should be able to have your spot, your things, your little area. Not asking for a lot. But we live in the richest country in the world, and that is almost impossible today. And we're fighting amongst each other still. We're using race games and sexist games and word games and playing this ism against that ism. And it's just like, enough. It makes zero sense. You want a better world. Everybody wants a better world for them. And I want a better world for you, a better life for you. But the only way that happens is if we get our heads out of the fucking sand. Recognize where the problem is. Recognize what the common denominator is. It's not about who's right and wrong. Jesus, I've never seen so many people get so upset about people that, that's my Democrat, that's my Republican. You don't even know these people. And yet you're willing to die on a sword because he's got an R or a D in front of their freaking name. And it's like, seriously? Is that how you grade all your friends, based upon what status they have and what line of bullshit they can tell you? Know what you know. And if you don't know, find out, or get around people that do and listen. Get involved, but you gotta listen. There's no way you're gonna learn anything if you just keep fighting and thinking that you have the right all the time. It's the stupidest fucking logic I've ever heard in my life. It's not about being right. It's about getting things right. And that serves everyone. And the only way you're ever going to get that is recognizing what talents you have and what you bring to the table, and then bring them so we all can benefit. And I bring my gifts to the table. Okay? If I didn't do that, who does it serve? Who does it serve? How does it benefit me to stand and look in front of a mirror every day and go, hey, I'm pretty goddamn good. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Look what I can do. And I can do this. And I can make lots of money. It benefits nobody. And you think like that was a crazy person if they did that, right? But we put so much emphasis on things that are so irrelevant in this world, and the stuff that's truly affecting us, the common denominator that's truly destroying us all, we just let that go. Oh, it's those damn Republicans. No, it's those damn Democrats. It's when I hear people talk like that, and that's what I'm saying, and this is happening, I know that the person has zero idea what they're talking about. They just heard something or read something or saw something one day, and now they're the fucking expert on it. That makes you dangerous. And again, it's like I said, if I was the guy that goes into the operating room and just said, yep, I'm the doctor here. Look, everybody, I'm the doctor. I saw an episode of House one day. So that makes me qualified to come in here and do this? No, it doesn't. Can you have an opinion about what's going on? Sure, everybody can have an opinion, but opinions aren't facts. Okay? You got to bring the receipts. You got to talk in truth, not platitudes of bullshit that mean nothing. And that's what your representatives and senators do most of the time, or many of them do. They speak to you like you're an idiot, tell you all the things that you want to hear, and be charismatic while you're doing it, because if you got charisma and you're full of shit, well, that's a political position, and that's really all the requirement is, to be really good at bullshit. But I want you, America, to be able to see through all of that, to be able to look at a person and go, okay, if this person came up to me and said that, what would I ask him to be able to, because I don't know this person. I mean, they're trying to make it sound like, yeah, we're buddies, and, we've been doing this for a long time, right? And, if you do this, and you do this, and you listen to these, you get me back in office, I'll make sure to get, it's like the quid pro quo shit, right? They talk to you like they know you, like we're good friends. They don't know you. Most of them don't know you, and most of them don't give a shit. So why don't we put people in office that do? People that you know. Maybe you would be the next best representative of your district. But how will we ever know as long as we keep voting the same names in? These same people that have no problem selling you out and stealing your money and then trying to find a way to cover it up. Plug up Trump's whole process with Doge. Oh, blame Elon Musk. He doesn't care about this. He's a damn South African, blah, blah. It's just like the mindlessness that's going on. It's like, oh, okay, so we're not going to look at the trillions of dollars in waste. No, we're going to just look at Elon Musk and say, yeah, because he's from South Africa. Yeah, he has no America. It's like, really? I mean, I'm just, how did we get so stupid? I mean, really? You got to, look, we all have to come to a point in our life. Look, I had to do it where I realized, well, I'm really fucking dumb, man. I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, and that was like a good 15 to 18 years ago. When I was younger, my late 20s, mid 20s, when I thought I knew everything. And then you get older, and you start to realize, wow, how fucking dumbass I was. And you may be that 25-year-old, 30-year-old, maybe 40-year-old. Maybe you just haven't paid attention to anything for a very long time. And that's okay. I'm not here to hit anybody about that. Life sucks, and life has its problems, its ups and downs, it's all over the place. If anybody knows that, I sure as hell do. But how are you ever going to get smart about this stuff if you just keep walking around thinking you know things when you really don't? That goes for me too. I believe in trying to display things to people in the best way that I know how so that maybe they could benefit from it, all right? And utilize what it is I'm saying so they can do the work themselves. I don't believe in telling people what to think. I believe in telling people that this is what they should do for themselves so that they know what the hell is going on. Because again, if you listen to everything I say just off the cuff, which please don't do, it's like, you don't know if I'm pigeonholing. You don't know if I'm doing anything. I'm gaslighting you. How would you know? Well, if it resonates with you, and it resonates with a lot of people, then it means that obviously what I'm saying is somewhat truthful, or at least we understand it to be somewhat truthful. Okay? So that maybe gives you the thumbs up, right? But there's always going to be people that hate what it is you have to say, because when you say stuff like that, it causes them to recognize something in themselves that they don't like. So it's better to basically make you look like the idiot or fight back at you, because now you're hurting their ego. And now, like I said, familiarity breeds contentment. People fall that finite happy space and they just flow back into it because they don't want the world knowing that they don't know. And like I said before, how did we get so stupid? It's okay not to know something. It's even worse to think and say that you do when you really don't. Like me, if I went into an operating room and nobody knew me and I said, yes, I'm on the on-call doctor here, my name's Dr. Fitzaputa, okay, please give me the gloves, and I started cutting somebody open, you would think I was a psycho, right? We don't do that. Why? Because we're not pretending to be something that we're not. I can't go into an operating room if I don't know what the frick I'm doing, all right? And I don't think people should be going around saying shit that they really don't know themselves. We used to be better than this. We used to re-examine who the hell it is we are, because we put ourselves in a higher accord. A man dealt with his shit. A man did the things that he had to do in order to make sure that he took care of his family. A man did different things, okay? But now it's like, what's a man? We've lost so much in such a short period of time. And all I want to do is pull you all back in, because it's your future. I'm going to be dead in a short period of time. And then tomorrow, if you don't pay attention now, there are people that are still embedded within this system that are going to try to find ways to keep themselves leached in like herpes for the rest of their life. They don't want to go. But it's up to us. The way this goes away. And you know this is true, is when we stop arguing amongst each other and start to recognize what the common denominator is. What's been screwing us? Us! For all these decades. What has destroyed our families throughout these decades? What? The drugs. I mean, just think about all of the things that our government has allowed to happen. And they just talked about and talked about and talked about and pleaded with you and give me money and do this. And they did nothing. It's up to us to take back what they stole. And we can do that very successfully in a very short period of time. If we could just drop the labels in this country and start just looking at each other as people, Americans, trying to take care of our own and your own. There is nothing wrong. This is not a racist country. It's not a sexist country. It's not a misogynistic country. It's none of these things. You've been sold a bill of bullshit. Does some of these things happen? Of course. People, look, there's crazies. Like I said, there's fringes in every avenue of life. That's what makes life just so interesting, doesn't it? But it's not the consensus. And when you start to throw people in boxes, what does it do? It just shuts the lid on the conversations that we could be happening, because we think each other hates each other. And it's all bullshit. It's like, how did we get so stupid? We're better than this. We've got to be better than this. We've got to understand how valuable we are We need to understand what our worth is. And we need to fight for that. All of us do. Men need to be men. Women need to be women. And then everything else. Everybody else can just figure it all out. But this is not supposed to be dividing us more and dividing us more and dividing us more. We need to speak in truth. We need to speak in reality. And how can reality be determined? Well, it's called a debate. We all sit down and we have a conversation. You bring your facts, I bring my facts, and what happens? The consensus looks at this and says, yeah, that's shit and that's right. Or vice versa. Or it's bullshit. But the only way we ever get at it is by stopping the stupid putting people in boxes, putting labels on everybody. This country, we're the United States of America, with some of the best people in the world. For sure the most generous. And we deserve better. I know you hate hearing this. I know so many people hate hearing this. But it's like Donald Trump is doing that. And history is going to show that he was the guy that tried his ass off to put the power back into the people's hands. To try to unify the country. To try to stop the fucking labels. I don't think it'll say that, but, you know. My point is that when you recognize the power you have with what you have right now, you can use it. You have skills. You have things that you have accomplished. You have a life script that you have already somewhat fulfilled. You got to use what's in that script. You got to use what you've learned, okay? You have the skills you've acquired. And find a way to interact with your community, to get involved with your community, to build within your community, to network within your community, and to put the people that are going to properly represent you from your community, and it could be you, to lead and to take care of the people who put you in charge. We got to go back to being proud of this nation. When America used to be something that everybody wanted to be a part of. You don't need us. I don't want our government going around the world where they think all the United States are. They're those ignorant people that just keep telling everybody go to war, go to war, go to war. Because again, you don't realize there's a reason why a lot of people around the world don't like American citizens. They think that we're stupid. And look, for the most part, we have been. Me included. But once you unravel from all of it, that's what I'm saying. Once you unplug from the nonsense that they've programmed in you, it's going to hurt initially. It's going to be a shocker to the system. It's going to be like, why would they do this? You know, it's going to make you uncomfortable. Change always does. But it's like, where are you going? If you know the direction you're heading, then you know this uncomfortability is just that growing pain that you're going to need. It sucks to find out that people that you trusted have been lying to you, betraying you. It sucks. But it makes you stronger, it makes you better, it makes you much more aware of what's actually happening in front of you. And my goal is going to always be the same. When I told you this, I'm going to try to get you to be better at recognizing when somebody's standing in front of you and they're just towing a line of bullshit. You got to be able to recognize the cues. And I meet so many people that just, either they don't know or they don't care. And that's not going to work. The only way we can hold ourselves accountable, the people around us accountable, is if we are in the know. If we know that they are full of shit. If we know and we can prove it. It just takes, again, like I said, the skills you have, the will, and just learn to listen. Let's learn to listen to each other. It's us versus them. And when this country comes to a consensus and we finally recognize that, that's when things really start to change. But the stuff that's going on within MAGA right now, the stuff that's going on within these conservative groups that are, saying this person sucks and this person's a shill and this person's other stuff, stop listening to those people, okay? It's 5 weeks in, 6 weeks in, okay? In 2 years' time, if nothing's going down, then you can probably make that statement. But you don't understand how government works. You never worked inside one of those apparatuses. And then just imagine what these people have been covering up over the last 4-something years. The amount of theft, criminality that went on. They have to whitewash so many things so that the connections make it more difficult to put those pieces together. Again, it's criminals protecting criminals. And if you've been watching me for a long period of time, you will know that I've been trying to take you on this journey for a reason. Because again, once you understand the backlog, the nomenclature, the understanding of how the field is played, then once you see it, then it's very easy to recognize when you're being played. But in these groups, I'm telling you, there's an infiltration of people that don't understand really what MAGA is because they came late to the game. The hardliners, the ones that were from the beginning, the understanding of the vision of Trump and what is going on there. You need to remind them what is going on here. Don't let it just be me. Don't let it be, you've got to understand really what's going on. You can't just go out and shout nonsense and things. I mean, you can do it. You have it's right to do that. But understand what you're doing when you do that. For yourself. Now, you just want to be an asshole because that's your nature. Fine. We get that. That happens all the time in the world. But I want people, even if it's you that are doing it, because you think you know what you're talking about when you really don't. Ask yourself, if somebody was to ask me a question about this, how would I answer it? If you don't know the answer to that, then find out. You're not stupid. You can do this. But you need to know why you believe what you believe. You need to know where the division is and the direction that things are heading. And patience. Understanding really what's promises made, promises kept by this administration. Things are going to take time. In some of these areas, it's going to take time. You got to understand how that apparatus has been working for years, the corruption that has been in, and they're not just handing the keys over. They're going to do everything in their power to try to make it difficult to allow President Trump and his team to release or unveil or implement the things that are going to make this country better. We know that's going to happen. I told you several months back, start listening to the names, writing these names down because they're going to come back. And those are the people treasonous. We're going to have to deal with people like that. We're going to have to start making some serious decisions here because this could never happen again to this nation. If we do this and we do this right, we will have hundreds of years of prosperity. It will be, like Trump says, a new golden age. There's authenticity in his words. I know people can't see it, but that's what I do. Like I said, most people who know and watching me for a while know that I was not a person who was on this bandwagon in the initiate. I was not. I said this man's different. And I'm telling you that. You may not see what's happening downrange right away, but yeah, the era of Trump. All right, my friends, I think I've rambled enough. For those out there that are just come on board to MAGA or have just kind of joined this MAGA movement, so to speak, in the last year and a half or something like that, listen. Don't just jump. You don't really know what's going on. It's like me too. Again, you got to know what you know. You've heard me say this on the program before. It's not about what you know that'll get you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so, which gets you into trouble every time. And it doesn't benefit people when you spread propaganda that you really don't, you spread information that you really don't even know. Trust but verify. You got to, that's the age we're living in today. And it's only going to get better if we get better. We're on the same team. You and I are all on the same team. Once we recognize that, it benefits the entire United States and the world. Because the United States of America is an unstoppable force for good in this world when the people take control. All right, my friends, I'll talk with you soon. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.